Kito Fortune. Kind of sitting back here waiting for the show to get started. Glad to be a part of it. Hopefully, try to win. Yeah.
Peter Piper the plantation owner told Toby the nigga to pick a peck of prickle cotton. I said, Peter Piper the plantation owner told Toby the nigga to pick a peck of prickled cotton. Sally Sue with the sinister, seductive Anglo-Saxon eyes sought after Sammy to solicit sex, but couldn't accept being rejected, so she ran to her relatives to retort a wretched report of being raped, so now Sammy sleeps with seashells on the seafloor. Lily-livered Larry looks at Lucius with loathing every time he looked like he was starting to love learning or learning to love himself. Hard luck, Lucius, that's a lynching. Caucasian cop shot Tupac because they caught him coloring a caption of a corrupt Congress which conflicted with their conspiracy to keep all colored cats in cages, and they look at me. Tears spilling from their eyes in spite of their pride. Their eyebrows are furrowed like motocross speed bumps stretching across their foreheads. Their eyes hold back the pain of 400 leg cramps marinating in urine and feces in the brick of a slave ship. And although they don't move their lips, their eyes look up at me as if they are pleading, will you hate them? And I pause, not out of shock. But I pause because inside my mind, my emotions are a symphony of anxious musicians, each waiting for their opportunity to break away from the 4/4 Philharmonic and play their favorite flows in freestyle. And as I've danced through this life, I have heard the quick tempo of excitement's drums. I have cried to the solemn sounds of the sadness cellist. I have let love play electric guitar riffs across my rib cage, but there was one musician who I've yet to let play. He is the organist who sits in the corner of my mind. In full tuxedo, cummerbund and bow tie, he rocks back and forth anxiously, biting his nails to nubs and his nubs to skin, and that skin to bone. He raises those skeleton hands high in the air, throws back his head and cackles at the conductor. Will you hate them? And in order to give a more informed answer, I search my history books. And they tell me the story of a blue-eyes white dragon which breathes destruction across everything it touches, an appetite for power so strong it couldn't be controlled by Seto Kaiba or sated by 1,000 millennium items. They tell me the story of a people being bought and sold in cold blood, children stripped away from their mothers, fathers tarred and feathered, whether their fingers were withered or their backs were strong, all day long. Their songs are the only thing strong enough to drown out the cracks and whistles of the whip. And with a sinister smile, he asked me again, will you hate them? So I look at the world around me today, and Trayvon Martin starts turning in his grave, just itching for an inkling of justice from any judge or jury that won't judge him because of his hoodie or call him a hoodlum in front of his mommy, because apparently any nigga that's cold at night must be out to rob somebody, right? Wrong. I turn on my TV and all I see is these self-proclaimed patriots persecute their own president because he's got just a little bit too much pigment to have all that power. Has nothing to do with his political prowess. Paparazzi on the prowl like panthers, looking for whom they may devour and crucify our competent competitors. Tigers being nailed to the wood because they were just a little too good at the wrong thing. LAPD with their shoot on suspicion policy. School systems sending students in cycles of poverty. Black girls burning their hair of its personality because white folks are setting the so-called standards of beauty. And it behooves me to be pretty because the white man don't like ugly. So I close my history books and I turn off my TV and I open the box that holds my memories. And the first thing that I see is the first person to ever call me a fool was the only white teacher at my all-black school. I remember classes where I should have had an A, but Because my blackness was all the teachers could see, they determined that a D was equal to my full effort. At least I wasn't on the streets trying to be a G. Their conscience was clear, so they never pushed me. I remember driving through Texas over the summer and we got pulled over. I remember the fear I felt in my gut when those blue and red lights pulled up in our rear view mirror. My sister shaking close to tears when they asked us if we kept any weapons in the car, as if we were some kind of common criminals, but our only offense was a little bit of DWB. Driving while black, and I remember the anger I felt every time they told me that I acted like I was white because my intelligence and my blackness just didn't fit right. You know, you speak a little proper and you don't like to fight. What's wrong with you, nigga? Stick to the stereotype. Drink a little Kool-Aid, smoke a little weed, fail a couple classes, that's exactly what you need. Say the word nigga more, like you never have before. Nigga this, nigga that, nigga what you reading for? Put down that guitar, boy. Rock is not for you. I got some Soulja Boy and some 2 Chainz here for you. Listen to you go deaf. Any brain you have left will be gang mentality. The bullets will do the rest. And this restless organist gets up from his chair, throws his score to the floor and gets in my face and asks, will you hate them? Come on, Mr. Poet, Mr. Revolutionary, Mr. Wannabe Huey P. Follow Newton's law and give them the equal and opposite hate they deserve. Cuss at every single one of them when you see them passing in the street. Cuss at every single one of them when you see them passing in the street. Turn up your nose at every single one you meet. Hold on to your anger until it boils and festers into something gloriously greater. You need to hate them. Will you hate them? Will you hate them? No. No. Because inside this box that holds my memories, I see white friends that hung out with me when the black kids thought I wasn't cool enough. I see white coaches who legitimately believed in me. I see white people that invited me over and treated me like family when the black folk at my church barely wanted to feed me. And more importantly, I see a God who loves me impartially. If I was red, blue, yellow, or white, he would love me still without any spite. And all of us have fallen short in his sight, so who am I to judge you for just being white? Look, don't ask me to get Trayvon's parents, Jesse Jackson, or even my father to forgive you. Because honestly, I'm not even sure if I want to. But by God's grace, and a little bit of faith, I refuse to hate you.